Good morning. All right, I have a little bit of a time today. Don't file your nails in the car because it creates a lot of dust. But I have a little bit of time today, so just want to say good morning. And I'm working on producing this video. Just a little bit of my story. I have to figure out how to like delete things on my laptop because it says I'm like I don't have any storage, so I have to go delete everything on my laptop. Hopefully I can just create more space for my future stuff. But I was just thinking about my grandma, and moving here to New York City, when I was 11, and living with my grandma for 12 years. I was just thinking about, when she kicked me out during COVID, because she was constantly watching the news. I could feel in my eyebrows right there. I should go order breakfast because I need to go eat breakfast. But I have some time, so it's okay. But I was just thinking about my grandma and COVID, how she was constantly watching the news. And the news was spilling so much fear into my grandma. My grandma was so terrified of what was happening on the news. Like, she was so afraid and terrified of what was going on that she scared me. Like, she was so scared. Like, I was terrified because of how afraid she was, and the news, I used to sleep on her couch, and then she wake up early in the morning, 5 a.m., 6 a.m., and like turn on the news in the living room where I'm sleeping, and it would be so much fear. Like, I woke up feeling scared when she would come in the living room and turn the TV on. And I would hear these things in the background. It's always like, if you watch the news is a control factor. The news is here to literally control people. Like, what emotions do you usually feel when you watch the news? Like, just from a neutral point of view, looking at it, you watch the news, what emotions are you feeling? It's always something scary going on the news. Like, the news is the best scary movie you can watch. Just turn that on, get your popcorn, and I guarantee you would leave feeling scared. Oh, look at Lady next to me. She got dreads. And she got a bunch of flowers. Someone's birthday. Wow. I'm gonna show you where I'm at, but I'm gonna show you where I'm at. But wow, beautiful black woman with a big bouquet of flowers. Oh, I love seeing that. But anyway, she was so terrified and so scared. She literally kicked me out in the middle of COVID because she was so afraid that she would get the virus. To me, that's so wild that a news can do that to you. Kicked me out in the middle of the pandemic in March of 2020. When she kicked me out, I didn't know at the time, but when she kicked me out at her house after living there for 12 years, and I had just graduated college, with no savings and no job, I was like job hunting. Every day I was on the phone, making phone calls, emails, like doing interviews, going job interviews. Like, I was like hunting for a job so bad. And my grandma kicked me out, while I'm still job searching, no savings, my credit card is maxed out. Like, I had nothing. When my grandma kicked me out, I didn't know at the time, but she set the foundation for me never feeling trapped again. She'd made me so fearless. You know, I spent months after she kicked me out. I spent months. When she kicked me out and I was forced to go live with my boyfriend at the time, I felt so fearless after a while. You know, after I had spent months crying my eyes out, feeling sad, here I am filing if I just said not to file. But my nails is like, see, it's bent right there. But when she kicked me out, like, I was so depressed and I was so sad. But she helped me face all those traumas, all those years of living with her, all the things that we had to deal with, all the emotional traumas. She helped me look all of that in the face, you know, and said, you have no control over me. What I've been through my past has no control over me. You know, and I want to thank her. You know, I was so bitter and I was so miserable. I was so, like, I felt so isolated, so betrayed by that. How could this woman take me from Jamaica, bring me to New York City, and then kick me out in the middle of a pandemic when the world is going mad? And she did that. Man, my heart was so broken. My heart was so broken. You know, I was so mad and I cursed at her. I never cursed at her, not to her face, you know, but I would write down these mean things about her, about how she made me feel, you know. And then one day, crying my eyes out, I just wrote her a letter. I wrote her a letter, and the first time I wrote the letter, I had so many tears on it that I had to rewrite it. But then eventually I gave it to her, and I forgave her. I forgave her. I forgave her for all the mistreatments me, my sisters, my mom had to endure. I forgave her. You know, I wrote her a note, and I thanked her for bringing me in America, for giving me the opportunities that I had, the education that I got, going to high school, going to college. I thanked her for sheltering me, for giving me a home for all those 12 years. I thanked her, you know, and at the end, I said, if you don't heal what hurt you, you will bleed on people who haven't cut you. That's a quote I got from somewhere. I don't remember where I got it from. But that's the last thing I wrote on that letter when I gave it to her. It was a very positive letter. It was very just a thank you, Grandma. I know you've been through a whole lot of things that I can't even fathom, you know. And I understand, you know, all the things that you did is because you've been through worse. You know, and I looked at it from that point of view. Like, she hurt us because she was hurting. She didn't have an outlet. You know, she didn't know how to process her emotions, her feelings. So she spent years reliving the same things and doing the same things to people because she never processed that trauma. And her putting me in that situation, putting me in the hands and the mercy of my boyfriend at the time, her doing that set me free. You know, there's a quote that says, you know, sometimes we're thrown into dirt and we think we're buried. These are not my words, but these words mean a lot to me. You know, sometimes we're put in situations and we think we're buried, but we're only being planted. We have only been planted. And right now, living in my car right now is the most peace I have felt in a long time. Like, I'm at peace. Like, when I was living with my grandma for those 12 years, up until 2020, those years, the freedom and peace I have now, I see those years as hell. In comparison to the peace that I have now, the inner peace that I have now, those years were literal hell. So, thank you, Grandma. Thank you for giving me the peace of mind, the courage to look within. Thank you. Thank you for planting me, for taking care of me for all those years, Grandma. I really, 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 I'm so honored and I'm so grateful to have you as a grandma. Because half the things you had to go through to get to where you are, living in a 2-bedroom apartment in New York City, Harlem, raising 6 kids, Grandma, I hope you know that I do love you. And my sisters, they will get around to feeling that way. But until they do, I hope you know that I've reached that place. And I love you and I forgive you. Even though you probably won't watch this video. But if you ever do, I love you, Grandma. I love you. And I see you. I see your pain. And I feel that way about everyone who's ever mistreated me. Every single person who's ever mistreated me. I know you were hurting. And I just want you to know that I love you. And I'm going to end it there.